Hi, I'm Paul Stevens, and I'm one of the co-editors of Volume 2 of Working Blessedly Forever, subtitled The Practice of Marketplace Theology. We wanted to offer to the world a rather creative and contemporary expression of the relationship of faith and work. As we work, as we engage in our enterprises, we learn so much about God and ourselves and even the work itself.
So, I practiced law for close to 40 years. And I work very closely with businesses, business owners, business management. And I've always wanted to know the significance of the institution of business from a biblical perspective. I have questions like, are businesses something that is already in God's created order? Is it something designed by God to flourish men? How should Christians interact with business? So I examine the institution of business from the lens of the four great biblical movement. I looked at business through the lens of creation, then through fall, through redemption, through consummation.
My essay is called God's Providence and Human Enterprise. And what I'm interested in exploring here to begin is what it means to say that God works. Often we say God works and we work, and we think that we mean the same thing by work. But we're talking here about the eternal creator and a finite creature. And so I think it's worth slowing down to look closely at what we mean and what Scripture means when it says God works.
My chapter in Volume 2 is called Making a Case for the Value of Case Studies. The reason why I wrote that is because I am coming from a background of doing theology from above, which is, when we do theology, we start with God's revelation and then work down all the nitty-gritties until hopefully we will end up some application. Then, I start to think about, why not do the theology the other way around, from below, which is from our actual everyday living experience. There you go, the case study comes in handy now. As we go through every case study, we learn the real situation. We know the problem that we are facing. And from there, we develop a theology. We ask the Bible what the Bible teaches about in this specific case study.
By now, many of us know that our work matters to God. But the question is, what about my specific work? What if I'm a second grade teacher? What if I'm a street vendor in Sao Paulo? What if I am working in the fashion industry? What if I'm a senior executive at a bank? How does that work matter to God? What we propose in this paper is a series of 5 questions that you can address that will begin to open up to you how to think about your own specific work in the language of how that matters to God.
Money is a subject I study because that's what I do. My day job is managing money. So in many ways, sometimes just touching so much money in the day, 5 days a week is just too much. And I thought for me to reflect on money and to do research and write about money is a way for me to just kind of integrate what I'm doing by day.
I have been thinking a lot about poverty for quite some time now. We bought a house and I realized I was rich. Clearly, injustice causes a lot of poverty in this world, probably the majority of the poverty in this world. But is it the sole cause of poverty? The chapter discusses poverty, inequality, and how we deal with it. Is it a justice issue? Sometimes it is. But is it always a justice issue? And do we always appeal to justice or do we appeal to love?
So how come our restaurants is a church? Even we bring takeout to go to deliver. That is a home visit. We go to their home to see who they are, what they're doing, and that's the way we start building relationships. And more importantly is that when we having a relationship with the neighborhood, all of a sudden, this restaurant and also a church become a community center. So they all bring their kids to our restaurant. They come here to celebrate a birthday party. They come here to have fun together with families. And all of a sudden, I realized that this is community. This is the community center that everybody come, sing and eat and celebrate. That is church meant to be.